Hello guys, welcome back to another video. We're officially in December, so you know what that means. Today we're going to be breaking down how much I made, how much I spent, and how much I invested in the month of November, looking at my budgeting spreadsheet. So let's get into it. Now that we're here on my Excel sheet, I'm just going to change this to the month of November. As we can see, my last updated date was December 1st. I updated this yesterday. So this is all fresh. I collected all the data from November, went through both my bank accounts, all my credit card statements to make sure that this is as accurate as possible. So I know every single dollar that came in and every single dollar that went out of my accounts. So starting with the income, this month was one of my larger uh, months since I started working. My total income came out to $6,668. This was more than I initially expected. Now, a big reason this is higher than expected is because $2,000 of this income came from selling some lights that I bought a couple years back to one of my brothers. Again, I knew this income was going to be coming in at some point, but I didn't know if it would be coming in November, sometime earlier next year, or when precisely. Going into it next, we have my groceries. You got to eat somehow. The boat continues. Spent $176.74, which is honestly less than I expected. I believe it's less than last month. Yeah, last month I spent 229, versus this month I spent only 176. Another thing that I spent a lot less money on is fun, aka going out and whatever. That's just because I feel like this month, we didn't have Halloween or any major event that rallied a bunch of us to go out or do that many events. I mean, I did go home for Thanksgiving. That's why you'll see my gas bill is a little bit higher than usual. Again, for me, my utilities are included in my rent, so you'll see zero for utilities, and my rent will be $600 a month. I did, however, spend $326 on eating out. Now, this consists of, eating out with my friends, coworkers. Even when I was in Houston, me and my mom went out to eat a few times. Of course, my mom has given everything for me, so I don't mind paying a couple meals for her. It's the least I can do. And eating out is one of the things that I enjoy spending my money on because who doesn't enjoy eating some good food with those important to them, right? So, moving on, we have $560 for my business. This was spent to buy materials um, for something that I'm going to be doing upcoming in February. So, I think this will have a good return on invested capital. I'm not really stressing about it too much. You know, scared money don't make money, right? Simple as that. Going on to the next thing, we have my investing, which this month I invested $1,600 total. Of course, with that, I have my daily buys. Currently, my daily buy was set to Meta because the pullback was crazy on Meta. I also had my Roth IRA contributions, my Coinbase monthly buys, and a little bit more money that I put in. Just because we had a lot of pullbacks in November, so I wanted to take advantage of those. Bought up some more Amazon. Finally hit my goal of having 50 shares of Amazon. Moving on to that. So currently, my savings for the month are $0, right? However, I did have my automatic contribution to my high yield savings account go through at the end of the month. It's looking like it's going to get processed in December, so that might just double up in December, or I'll double check if it finalizes the November date, and I'll include it back in here. But at the moment, it's looking like it's going to be in December. So December, I'm just going to have a $2,000 savings month instead of having a $1,000 savings month this month. So that doesn't really shift too much. We already spoke about my rent. Next up is gas. As mentioned, I was driving to Houston and back, so I spent a little bit more on gas, $221, and I am getting ready to buy a new car, which is pretty exciting. Well, not a new car, but a second car is a better way to phrase it. So I also filled the gas tank on that when I was test driving it in Houston over Thanksgiving break, and that gas is going to be expensive. Finally, miscellaneous. I spent $709 on miscellaneous things. Now you're thinking, what the heck did this dude spend this money on? Right? A big part of these expenses came from repainting the hood. We're getting the materials to repaint the hood on my current car, which is a 2013 Honda Accord. The clear coat and paint on my hood started fading from the heat in Texas. So I wanted to get it redone so it looks a lot nicer, just in case, if I want to resell it in the future, or I just want to have it looking pristine, why not take care of your car as it takes care of you and drives you a lot of places. So that accounts for a lot of that. Also, I think I had some one or two Amazon purchases, and I had my Costco membership renewal that went into this, which was $130 because I get the executive Costco membership. You can love me or hate me, but I find value in it because I use it, my family uses it, and my cashback check ends up being greater than my membership fee. So I am technically in a positive trade, I guess, in some ways we can think about it. So, looking at this, this brings my year-to-date income to 41K, which is above the 50% mark of what I wanted it to be. My goal for this year was 80K. Now, as mentioned, I think I'll be ending the year a lot closer to 60-ish K uh, than what we're currently at. And I'll talk about a little bit more about that in a future video. But overall, we're looking pretty good. We smashed my investing goal of $20,000 for the year, so that's phenomenal. And my investing rate is still looking at a solid 51%. Um, so that is also amazing. Another thing that I am gonna mention, um, since the last one I did of these, I added the miscellaneous category. This is for random expenses that can't quite figure out where to put them. And one thing you'll notice here is that I've spent 98.44% of the income that I've earned. Essentially, the 2.6% that's not in here is money that's just gonna be sitting left over in my bank account. You know, so that's where that is. And then I was watching a YouTuber who makes very similar videos to these, and I got inspired to update my Excel sheet a little bit, upgrade my game, and include a pie chart. This kind of helps me just visualize everything. And again, as mentioned, my biggest goal is to maintain my investing rate at 50%, and then overall with my savings rate, so it's 57% rate that I'm saving at currently, which is great, 58 technically. My goal, I'm gonna try to get this closer to 60. Um, is I optimize a little bit. That's actually one of my New Year's resolutions is to be more on top of my budget. I want to kind of revamp my spreadsheet. A lot of it, I like the way it flows, how I can track every single dollar. And something about coming in here on the side where you can see I input every entry manually. I know I can pull it and automate it and be a lot faster, but when I manually input all these values, it reminds me each dollar I spent and why I spent it, and I can kind of reflect in that moment. Was that a good decision, as I'm entering it? Like I think about it, was it worth? Should I change this going towards next month? That sort of thing. Um, Future changes I want to make to this, I want to make an expected versus realized, kind of what I expect to spend in the month versus the realized spend in the month. Now, going over this, I'm super excited to see what December is going to bring. I think it's going to be a great month for income. I think it's going to be an expensive month for fun. I'm planning a trip to go to Mexico, so I think that will be a blast. And then it's also the holidays. I feel like everyone's always in a better mood at this time of the year. So it's just a great overall time. Can't complain, got to stay thankful and grateful for the life that I get to live. So, yeah, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe or give me some other ideas. I'd love also some feedback on my spreadsheet. What do you think I can improve on? What do you think I should do differently to optimize this? My goal here is to retire as soon as possible and motivate others to do the same. Without further ado, I will see you guys next week. Take care. Bye bye.